Good evening, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, kids of all ages and sizes. Welcome to Let's Talk. I'm your host, Jason, with my co-host,
Cheryl.
Give me a little bit more energy, Cheryl. So, welcome to Let's Talk. Thank you for joining us. And here at Let's Talk, we like to talk about issues that matter to you, try to come up with workable, practical solutions so you have more action and less talk. Today, we had a bunch of different topics we were trying to throw out and run around, but some people got in my ear and got me to choose a specific topic. A good man. Biblical standards now. What is a good man? So that we had the Proverbs 31 woman 2 weeks ago. We went into that. So now they say we have to follow up. We have to be balanced. Come up and say, what is a good man? Now, I put up what is a good man in Google, and this is what Google tell me. A good man consistently demonstrates integrity and moral courage, regardless of external influences. He may take actions that are not always pleasant or popular, but he does so because he believes it is the right thing to do. It also says that, in addition, a good man ensures that they are respectful toward everyone, do not hide important things, are empathetic, are supportive of their partner, compassionate, and stand up for their partner when required. Finally, a good man will do everything to make you feel safe, secure, wanted, and loved. Wow, that's a good man. I think I fall short of that. I don't know if I know anyone who meet all the requirements. Cheryl, you tell us in your Bahamianese, what is a good man? What do you feel is a good man?
Well, Google sounds like they pretty much have it right. But it's funny that you went to Google when we're talking about a good man from the biblical standards. So we should be going to the Bible then.
Definitely.
So I know I was listening to something by Dr. Miles Monroe, deceased. And he was talking about, the ideal man. And it was taken from, I think, Genesis 2, somewhere around verse 15, about when God created man. And, a few verses in there spoke to, well, not specifically, but the ideal man or a good man first has to be a godly man. And, the Bible talks about, God placing the man in the Garden of Eden. And, Miles Monroe, Dr. Miles Monroe talked about the Garden of Eden not being a place, but being the presence of God. So he had a relationship with God. So for me, the ideal man firstly must have a relationship with God. And then he must work, because that's the next thing God did. God told the man to work, to cultivate the land. And so the ideal man must be a hard worker. And like, the other things that you would have said, after that, same Genesis 2, God told him to, not eat from the tree. God gave him his word. So now he has a relationship with God. He's in the presence of God. He's a hard worker. And he has the word of God because God gave him his word. All of that before the woman was even made. And after all of that, God said, it's not good for this man to be alone. That was that good man. So, Dr. Miles went on to talk about the fact that if a man doesn't fit into those categories, it's good for him to be alone. Mm-hmm. So, but pretty much those things that you would have mentioned from Google would cover those qualities of the ideal man based on the biblical standards.
Okay, and I agree. I can't go against that, the word of God. I definitely subscribe to that.
Oh, you can't go against that.
So, but he said he had all these things. Uh-huh. And then he gave him woman.
Oh, God.
And then what happened? Just tease it. I couldn't resist that. So, but a man should not So when God created him, he created him to be in his presence, created him to work the land, created him to have his word in him and to obey him. He gave him the woman. So that means now a woman should use that as a standard.
Yes.
Do you feel
Yes.
that's happening?
No. I definitely don't feel that. I feel like, a lot of us women especially, we go, we find God, and then we go and we try to find a man and then bring him to church with us, instead of finding a man who already knows God, who has a relationship with God. And I think it's because we're impatient for whatever reason. Some people might feel their clock is ticking. Some people don't want to be alone. A lot of people do not want to be alone, and that's why they will just settle to be with someone, whether the person is with someone else, or whether the person is not treating them properly, or whether or not the person fits all the qualities they're looking for. They'll settle because they don't want to be alone. And so we refuse to make sure that the other person measures up to all the standards, because if he doesn't have all of these things, then I don't think the relationship has the fair chance that it should.
So should he have them, or should he be potentially should show that he is potential to provide them? Because a man, let's say a man is, well, of course he should have God first and foremost, right? But let's say you say he should be working. What if he's between jobs, or does he have to be working?
I don't want to
I say
answer
yes.
that, because I
I say
believe
yes. You
he
don't have
has to be working. The Bible didn't say, God say, okay, hold on. He made sure that the man was working. He said, go to work.
So
And then he gave him a woman. Any man that does not have a job, that's okay for you to be in between
Yeah.
jobs, or you have the potential to find, but you just don't need a woman yet. When you are working and you can take care of someone, that's the time to find someone. But if you're in between jobs, then you need to be alone for that.
Yeah. So me and a coworker of mine were talking the other day, and we were speaking with another younger coworker, and this coworker had all these lofty ideas of what a woman need to come bring to the table, or she gotta have this and she gotta have that. So my coworker asked him, say, "What you got?
Right.
What you bringing?" And he stumbled and say, "No. There's certain things you need to have before you even decide you go get a woman."
Absolutely.
And it was baffling to me that the young man didn't notice. But that's the thing now. Today, they are just like how the young females aren't being taught, the young men aren't being taught as well.
That's true.
They just feel that they are worthy of these people. Like you shouldn't be, like you, for some reason, you are entitled to a good person. Why?
Yeah.
You can't feel because you is man or woman that you're entitled to a good man or woman. No, a good man or woman deserves another good man or woman.
Absolutely.
So men, we ought to have things in place before we go looking for these women. Not looking for the woman. Don't look for the woman. Before God sends these women to you. And he ain't gonna send them to you
unless you're
ready. So that's probably why we don't get the women that we need to have, because we ain't ready, and God ain't gonna send his good woman to you to mess her up.
Right.
So
exactly.
Fella, if you want a good woman, you got to make sure you got to measure up to it.
Right.
You got to have God in your life, first of all. Not God in your life. You have to have a relationship. You should have a relationship
with God, yes.
Right? Secondly, you have to be working. Now, today, I've noticed a trend, and it's sad. Fellas out of the home, mothers clinging to their sons and their babying them, for lack of a better word.
Yes.
They're not allowing their sons, or encouraging their sons to go out and be men. So these young boys grow up to be grown boys, depending on whoever, whether it be women or men. They depend on other people rather than trying to be a man of their own. Now, this starts with men not being present, but women also play into this, because I always say it. If you're a single mother, you don't have a man in the home, find good men to bring your sons around, because a woman cannot raise a man. A woman cannot do it. Men need men to raise them. So therefore, a woman, I'm going to put this plug in here again. Mothers, I'm speaking to you. First of all, fathers, speaking to you. Get your hip back in communication with your children. Seek out a relationship with your sons, especially your daughters, so that they can be all that God called them to be.
Mhm.
You are needed.
Yes.
Fathers, play your role. Please play your role. Now, mothers, I need y'all, whatever chip y'all got on your shoulder, however y'all feeling about that daddy. If he's a piece of crap, that don't necessarily mean he's a piece of crap as a father. Encourage your children to have a relationship with their fathers because they need them. And if the father is a piece of crap as a father, and you find a good man,
Mhm.
like we described, who has a job, who has a relationship with God, who knows his responsibilities, and try to get them to mentor or have your sons around that man so they can now follow in his footsteps. Men have a high responsibility. We have a high calling, high responsibility. God called us as leaders. We believe in the Bible, right? So therefore, God put in order.
Right.
Him at top, the
Mhm.
man, then the husband,
Mhm.
then the wife, then the children. Men have a very important position.
Yes.
And we need to live up to
Definitely.
it.
Mhm.
Many of us are not living up to it because we have examples. And the word also kind of promoting us to not be good.
Please explain.
They glorify bunch of baby daddies. Women encouraging it.
Mm.
Women, what they say? I just spoke to a woman, the good guys. She said, no, man, good guys are just boring.
Really?
Yeah, they're boring.
Wow.
Bad boys, they want the one who can stress
Mhm.
them out. They want the guy who, can it ain't exciting. You know, they gotta check him when they say that. If he ain't got no other girls, then I don't want him. Listen,
That person was not a sensible person. I can just come out on a limb and say that because no sensible person is going to say if he doesn't have another girlfriend or someone else, then I just think we promote drama. People like drama. People like that adrenaline rush and try to get it. But these aren't normal people. This is not the norm. I think the world is upside down as we know it, and a lot of things that we grew up with as what's normal is not normal anymore. And we have to I guess be outright with it and say, okay, your thoughts are not normal. This is not how it ought to be. And I don't even think these people are the majority. They're just louder, and the louder people will always be heard. So I know Jason is probably going to segue this into something else, but
yes,
but
yes.
you talk about the
I'm so
world
happy she's speaking. Go
promoting
ahead.
things, but a few years ago it was a man's world.
It was
You
never
know,
a
it,
man's
it
world.
was a man's world.
That was the
It
talk, but it was never a
it
man's
women
world.
no back let me just say, back in the day it was a man's world, and women had to know their place. uh men ruled in the workplace, women ruled in the homes, women ruled in the kitchen. Even when the man comes home, the woman knows her place, and that's how it was. Of course it's not the same anymore, but it's the man who moved out of place, and that's why all of this is happening. It is the man who moves out of place. And once men rise up and take their places back, then we would, a lot of the issues that we have now, if men rose up, if real men rose up, if ideal men rose up, if godly men rose up and took their places back, then everything will fall back in order of how God created. Women will fall back into their place. The children will be in their rightful place. And I think, you know, we'll have a closer to an ideal situation.
I
And
disagree
of
with
course,
that to an
I don't
extent.
believe we'll ever get back to that, to an ideal situation, because the devil is the order of this world, is and
Yes,
yeah,
yes. You
and
rule of
and
this world.
so right, he rules here, and we love to be comfortable and happy. And it's sad that spiritual things are not the focus anymore. It's not the focus of families, it's not the focus of relationships. And what we're talking about is really for people who want God in their relationships, and God in their families, and God in their lives.
Mind you, because of this world, they probably won't want God in their lives because this world is opposing God.
Yes.
And what I was saying, I disagree. You say if men got back in their places, then everything would fall in order. I disagree because
Mhm.
men did step out of place, but it was some of them stepping out of place was to appease the women. Some of them men should have stayed in their place because
It doesn't
God
it doesn't
called them. Hey, God called
doesn't
them
matter why.
to be at a certain place, right? And
Mhm.
because just to appease certain women in their lives, they decide to step out of place.
Mm.
Now, as being called, you should stay and stand, right? But I say I disagree with you because those same set of women who still fighting out of there for equality and well, you have equality, but they're claiming there's not equality. That's why I say I disagree with you saying it used to be a man's word. Everything was done for women. You said y'all ruled in the home. That's the most important place. That's the most important place because that's where everything happens in the home. The woman rule the home. She rule in the not ruling the man, but she has a lot to say. She has a lot of say. So to an extent, I agree. Men, things fell out of place because men are not in place. Men are not in place. But not to say if men come in place, that things would be in place. That's not true because man was in place when Eve ate the apple.
That's not true.
But man wasn't in place?
He could not have been.
Really?
He could not have been.
He was in place.
And that's why, and he was held responsible.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter, like you say, if men do things to appease women, it doesn't matter. You're still held responsible because
Yes.
God gave him. You know, God never spoke to the woman.
Right.
For that very reason, and that's why God never addressed the woman
And
when the
Satan
issue came about.
Satan never spoke to the man, he spoke to the woman.
Satan went to the
To the-
weakness. Exactly.
Bam.
So the man
that's
is
why I
still
say-
held responsible,
Yes.
and he's the
Yes.
leader in the home, and so he's still
Yes.
going to be
And
held
that's why he's
responsible.
gonna
He's the
be held
leader in
responsible.
society.
But I only said that because you say if men get back in place, then everything will fall in place. I don't think so.
Well, that's
But-
your opinion. That's
But guys, we want you all to call in and join in on this talk. 352-8255. Share, like, subscribe. We're about to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. So call us and take off.
Where you going, buddy?
To go buy these tickets for the party tonight.
Why this boy so dumb?
Tickets242.com.
You know how hard it is?
They sell tickets for parties, concerts, plays, sporting events, everything.
You know how expensive bus is?
Well, if you just buy the tickets online, they could just send you it in the email. Then you could just print it off.
You know how strong mosquitoes is?
Or you could go to the box office downtown with the Genesis Street Gear.
You ain't scared of Joneses, eh?
So we're back. Guys, listen to me. One of these times what we can do, we can let the microphone run while we're on commercial break so y'all can hear the comments and stuff, the conversation that's between us. Carol is so poised in front of this camera, but listen here, when this camera is off, I want you to see the real Cheryl here. But anyway, Mr. Producer has some comments. He's going to read for us right now.
yes, stay on topic.
Yes, the comments came in, and first commenter said that yes, a man has to be working. Second comment, immature people think as Jason just described. Men should have stayed, period. Listen, if these godly men were to step up, sensible women like myself would gladly let him lead.
Disagree. I disagree, and I don't want to know the comment name, but I disagree.
Can you read the rest of the comments, please?
That's all.
That's it. You want
Okay.
more? I disagree. People say, oh, if you do this, then I can do that. If you do this, I can do it. It can always be some caveat. There always can be something why they aren't doing their part. Do your part. God didn't say, hey, you do yours, he can do his. God say, we each have our part to do.
Why are
and
you
once
bashing?
do
Why are
it,
you bashing
I'm
the commenter?
responding to the comment. She says, if she does it, and I don't know who the commenter is, so that
Mhm.
means I'm not attacking you. I'm not coming to you personally because I don't know if I'm a camera paint. I'm just going against what you say. People that say this, and not just the commenter, not just
Mhm.
a woman. Oh, if I do this, I mean, if they do this, then I would do that. If they do this, if my wife does this, then I'll love her this way. If my husband does that, no. You are called to play your part. You are called to play your part regardless. So don't come but
Well, I mean, I do
Grand.
agree with you to that extent, but I mean, you don't know. This could be a single person who's not with anybody who says, okay, if I have, of course, this person in my life, then definitely I will play my part. And I think that's what the person is saying.
and I still disagree because
What?
because
You're just disagreeing for disagreement's sake
no,
today.
because
We'll just
I've heard
accept
that
that.
so much times.
And you're hearing it from persons
That
who
might be true.
No, I understand what you're saying. I've seen, I've said it many times before. You wait for the ideal situation for you to act in an ideal manner.
Mhm.
But what you're saying is we ought to act in that manner regardless
Yes.
instead of waiting. And I agree. But sometimes it's hard to follow a leader who is not leading you in the right way, even
Then
though
that's not
you're
your leader.
expected to follow anyway.
Then that's not your
No,
leader.
for example, pardon me?
Then that's not your leader.
Well, I mean, let's say if you're in the workplace and if you have a leader and if the leader is not leading, you still ought to follow regardless.
Yes, correct.
So I'm just saying, in a situation like that, you can't wait for the leader to lead properly or
Right,
lead
'cause
how
have
you expect.
responsibilities.
You have to follow.
Right.
So I think that's what the person alluded to. That okay, when you have these men come in, because some people would rather stay single until they want to wait on this ideal person.
And that's the thing too. That's what when my coworker when we were speaking to the young man, oh, they want this ideal woman. My man, are you in a position to be that ideal person? So I'm just speaking to this commenter. Oh, if this ideal man comes, then I will be this ideal woman. I don't think so. If you're not putting that into practice right now, being that ideal person, you're not going to be the ideal person when that person comes. The only thing you can do is run that person from around you, and then you'll be making noise. Oh, he was in the right one anyway. No, you was the wrong one for him. He was the right one.
True.
You was the wrong one. That's what I'm saying. So we gotta act like where we want to be. You can't wait till you get in that situation. Oh, I can be a good cook. I'm gonna be a homely wife, or I'm gonna be a woman in the word of God when this man reaches. No, you gotta be that way before he arrives. And then God will send him. God ain't gonna send you his good man for you to mess him up. You to mess with his head, broke his heart, and be this woman who don't want to play the role. Oh, he's too soft, or he's too nice, or he's not assertive enough, or he's too assertive, or he's trying to tell me what to do. Good men have standards. Good men won't allow a woman, his woman, to put herself in a situation that make herself look bad or make him look bad. So he will definitely put up boundaries, just as God puts boundaries on us. A good man can do that. But you know what what he's referred to when he does that? He's controlling. No, he has standards. Now you do have some men out there.
I think
controlling.
intelligent women can know the difference
No,
between
stop.
being controlling
No,
and
stop.
someone who has standards. I definitely believe that.
Listen to me.
But
Sharon, when a woman has been single, independent for so long,
right.
anybody who comes and suggests to her that she shouldn't do it that way, that's controlling to her. Because you know why? I've been doing it this way all my life. Who you is to come and tell me to do it another way? So she immediately, especially if she had jokers in her life before. Here comes the guy, the biblical guy, the good biblical guy. Listen, I don't think you should do this. I don't think you should wear that. I don't think you should go that way. I don't think you should say it like that. Who you is to tell me this? I was a grown woman. I got children to tell this to. Who you is where you coming from to tell me this now?
Well,
so that's why I say I disagree when they say if the ideal man comes, if this type of man comes.
I
I've
believe
seen
that
it
can
so much
happen.
and I've heard it.
No, I mean I've seen it and I've heard it too, but I've seen where it can happen. There's some things that you can reserve yourself for, and there's some things that you ought not to do until you meet the ideal person or the person that you're waiting for.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And it's not even things that you have to, there are some things you don't have to practice until you're with the person.
Correct.
It doesn't mean that you can't do it. Of course you can do it. You have the ability, the potential to do it, but you wait until you're in that position, in that relationship, before you act in that manner.
Correct. I get you.
Right.
I get what you're saying. You don't want to come out and say it, but certain things a wife shouldn't be doing until she is a wife.
Right.
Certain things a husband shouldn't be doing until he is a husband. But we're talking about a good man. So let's get back on it.
Yes,
Men
please.
we have responsibilities,
Mhm.
right? And a lot of us out there, because we've become accustomed to other people doing it, we don't think we should be doing it. Men, I don't think a man should really qualify himself as a man until he's able to take care not just of himself,
Mhm.
but of somebody else.
Right.
And I'm not meaning financially now, because financial taking care of people goes beyond finances.
Of course.
I'm talking about supporting somebody,
Mhm.
helping somebody out. And that could be emotionally,
Mhm.
physically, spiritually. Men should be able to help somebody beyond themselves, take care of
Mhm.
somebody beyond themselves. I think that's when you can
Teach,
qualify.
advise,
Yes,
and teach, because that's a part of the responsibilities after God placed the man in the Garden of Eden. He was supposed to teach his wife and advise her, not just protect and provide for her.
right.
You know, he was supposed to teach the word because God gave the word to the man.
Correct, the man.
And so her way of getting the word, and that's why it's important too for women to have a teachable spirit.
Yes.
And that's why that was a part of the curse after God, we say God drove the man out of the garden, but he drove him out of his presence, and the relationship was affected. But a part of the curse was that the woman's her response to the man
Yes.
would have been different,
Yes.
and that has caused so many problems. But it's important that a woman has a teachable spirit, and that is a big part of the relationship between the man and the woman.
And that helps to foster a good man, because
Mhm.
you could have a good man and he's instructing the way God wants. And if you have a
Mhm.
woman who doesn't have a teachable spirit,
Mhm.
that breeds some kind of resentment and contention
Mhm.
inside, and makes the man, it'll drive that man away.
Right.
So
We've
they-
seen, and not to cut you off, but we've seen in many areas in the Bible. Well, I wouldn't say many, but we've seen areas in the Bible where the man was disobedient to God because of his wife. So it's important that the role of support is so
Yes.
very important, because you can actually be destructive to your husband if you're not playing your supportive role in the right way.
Yes. And Cheryl, I think you need to say that again, because
I won't.
it's, because it's so much. If you look at today, and I might even play into it when I say it started fault with the men. A lot of ills in society starts because men are out of place.
Mhm.
It didn't end there, but a lot of people would like to make it believe that it started and ended with the men. And it continues to happen because everybody's not taking responsibility of it.
Mhm.
It's like it's the man's fault, so it's the man's job to fix it.
Well, I agree with that.
Oh, see, here we go.
No, I'm not saying I'm saying it's because men are not in place why it happens. So when men get back in place, then that will be the solution.
How will men get back in
Mm.
place?
Now, what I'm saying, when fathers start taking care of their children, when fathers start taking care of their homes, when fathers are in place, because that's where the breakdown starts. When we have broken boys or broken children, they grow up into broken or dysfunctional adults, and they get into dysfunctional relationships, and they have children and rear dysfunctional children, and the cycle continues.
Do you remember me just saying that it happening? The problem is the blame. I shouldn't say blame. We're saying it starts with men and it ends with men. So men have to fix it. I say that's the problem. You go on and say, yes, you agree. That's
I
the way it is.
said
And
it has that's the solution.
no.
The creator of
See,
the
that
problem will
seems-
be a part of the solution.
You're saying a part of the solution, but you say the men. When I said that men have to fix it, you say yes. You didn't say that we have to fix it. See, and that's what the problem
You
is.
can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't want to say men are the leaders, but now you don't want men to take responsibility for not leading.
I didn't say men don't
I'm
take
not-
responsibility. See,
I'm not sure
put your
what
women
you're
as your
saying.
woman as aside and see if you can listen objectively.
I'm trying, but
I want you to listen. I said we. The problem's there, but we have to fix it. Yes, men are out of place, but it's not just on men to fix it. Men got out of place because of women too. Eve was there. She gave him the apple, so she was part of the problem too. Yes, the problem started with, yes, Adam was responsible, but Eve played a part in it. She is a woman. She's a full-grown adult woman. Just like we have issues today. A man, most of the ills the men commit, they're not committed just for himself. They're committed with women or for women. A lot of them. So that's why I say we have to fix this. But you,
We meaning
So-
men have to fix it, or I'm not sure what you're saying.
men and women,
Oh, men
Have
and
to
women.
fix it.
Okay, I thought you were speaking for men when you said we
Because,
have to
see,
fix it.
let me stop speaking French.
Yeah.
Men and women have to fix it because you just said how women help to lead the men out. But then you say the women got to help bring them back in. And this is the problem. Women today just want to lay it all on the man's feet. It's the man's problem. The man did it. It's the man's fault. The man got to fix
Oh
it.
my! How did we get to
You
start
just said
blaming
it.
women again about
No.
Let's go
we ain't
back on
off it. We
topic.
ain't
We're
go back
talking
off-
about
we
the
ain't go
good
back
men,
off it.
the
We can go back
ideal
to the
man.
good
Let's
men,
go
but you
back.
just- you-
Let's
I
go
said-
back to that, please.
No, you just said that you agree that the man has to fix it. I said
Oh,
we have to
boy.
fix it. I am all about balance. Yeah, there's enough blame to go around for everybody. There's enough fault for everybody because everybody is now part of the problem. So everybody has to fix it, men and women.
Right.
So now that I've said that, I've got that off my chest. She secretly, she's very
Oh, there's
quietly
no
said
secret.
yes. No, she very
No, there's no
quietly said
secret.
yes.
Men have to fix it. That's
No, you said yes when I
that's
said men
it.
and women have to fix it. You
no,
said it very softly.
no,
You said yes.
no, men will have to fix it.
So you know how we can fix it?
Because that's
You know how we
how
can
that's
fix
the
it?
order in which God left it place.
You know how we can
So
fix
we're
it?
and when men get back in place, then women will find their place, which
Oh,
is in a
then.
supportive role.
Then they can find
Yeah.
their place.
Because you can't be there supporting nothing if there's no one to support.
So who are these women with today?
Mhm.
The men who
I'm not
all these-
sure.
oh, they say
But
the same
please-
men who causing all these
Please
problems.
call us 352
See,
talk 352
I want-
8255. Jason could use some help.
I won't
Here.
continue talking
But
about
until then,
the
we'll go
good
to
man,
commercial
but
break.
Cheryl
We'll
talking
be right
foolishness,
back.
So we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Where you going, boy?
To go buy these tickets for the party tonight.
Why this boy so dumb?
Tickets242.com.
You know how hard it is?
They sell tickets for parties, concerts, plays, sporting events, everything.
You know how expensive bus is?
Well, if you just buy the tickets online, they could just send you it in the email. Then you could just print it off.
You know how strong mosquitoes is?
Or you could go to the box office downtown at the Genesis Street Girl.
You ain't scared of Joneses, eh?
Definitely. So we're back. Cheryl was just telling me how it's just the man's fault. It's all the man's fault. The man have to fix it. And only when the good men step up and lead, then all the problems will go away. But anyway, we can come right back to that. Right now, we got some more comments. So, Mr. Producer, send these comments.
One commenter says, Jason, what? Nope.
That's very powerful.
Please, lumping all women into this category? No. There's no ideal person. The man should indeed take his place and lead his family and be a good example. I understand what Jason is saying. There's always something else. There's an inherent dissatisfaction in the female makeup. Then that guy should display patience and give her time to trust him.
Oh, wow.
You can't just meet someone and say, I'm a good man. You need to do this, that, and the other. If a man wants to be there for his children, no devil in hell can stop him. They simply don't want to. Most sensible mothers would gladly let these fathers do their thing. That's the realistic thing. I've heard Cheryl say women can be very destructive in their men's lives. A man usually falls as a result of trying to please a woman.
Mhm. Powerful comments, very powerful. I'd like to address them. But right now we have a caller. Caller, welcome to Let's Talk. You are live. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, I was listening to the comments of being read, and I guess that was a message when the lady was saying that nothing can stop the man from being around the children or taking care of the children or being in the children's life. something to that extent. Was I correct?
Yeah, you heard that,
She said
correct? I
Eh,
wanted to
yes.
address
That
that. Thank you,
cannot be further from the truth.
Okay, thank you, caller. Thank you,
That
caller.
cannot. Let me tell you why. See, when you experience these things
That's
for
right.
yourself, then you could say,
All right.
see, when a woman can tell you, see, if you're not married to the woman, she has more say,
That's right.
and the man has less say.
That's right.
Legally, actually, I don't think you have any say.
You don't have no say, caller. I can tell you, you don't have no say.
You don't have no say.
No say.
So when a woman can tell you, hey, I can tell your child you are dead,
Mm-hmm.
right? When the woman can say, I would, and she could keep the child from you,
Mm-hmm.
and you would have no say. She could put you in court
That's right.
and make you pay, and
Look at-
and then still keep the child from you.
Mm-hmm.
Women do that.
Yes.
See,
Sure, I know that.
I know what that feels like.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know
No,
what
I
know.
wasn't put in court because I
Mhm.
did what I was supposed to do. But for a woman to tell you straight up, hey, I will simply tell this. I said, well, what you gonna do? What you gonna tell this child? You don't want me? Well, I'm just gonna tell him you're dead.
Mm.
Women do
woman.
that.
That's a good woman.
Women do that.
Mhm.
Not all, but some do that. See, and I like what your co-host said. Not only your co-host, but what the lady said. Sensible women.
That's right.
You see, that's the difference right there.
Emphasis on sensible.
Sensible woman would not do those things. But see, I've listened to a lot of guys online, and a lot of them have the same complaint. I have friends who have the same complaint. If sometimes when you're not with them anymore, then they just act a certain way towards you, or make your life difficult, or keep the child from you. And at the same time, I'll knock guys too. Some guys, if they can't be with the woman anymore, they're lousy. They won't want to take care of their child
Yes.
anymore, just to spite the woman,
Yes.
which is wrong. Guys
Yes.
do that, and they're wrong for that too.
Yes. Yes, caller, you are correct.
So let me hang up and let you all expand on that.
Thank you so much, caller. Call anytime. We appreciate your call. Shelly,
Oh,
you got something
boy.
to say?
I do have something to say. I
Go
do
ahead.
agree with the caller that things like that do happen, and like he said, sounds like a very intelligent gentleman. He said they exist on both sides, and they do exist on both sides. We have awful people, and they're cross genders.
Yes.
Let's take this other call before we continue.
Welcome to Let's Talk, caller. You are live. Go ahead.
I know that. I wonder that. Now, I was listening to your topic about the woman don't want the man to, don't want the child to know who their daddy is. That's the waste of time for a woman to do that, and that's the wrongest thing for a woman to do a child. Is to poison a child's mind
Yes. Yes.
against their father. And at the end of the day, when that child gets me and your age, what are you gonna do?
Mhm.
Know who your daddy is, right? What
That's
she
right.
gonna do? She wanna know who your daddy is, right?
Right.
So then at the end of the day, when they gonna find it because they can be adults. They gonna find out the truth when they're adults. And when they're adults, they're gonna say, mommy lied to them or that.
Yes.
All right? So, and then the thing is about it, but someone do that. If you love your child that much, if I love my kids that much, I want them to, I'll never try to take them from their mommy.
That's right.
Because a child needs two parents,
Yes, sir.
not one.
Yes, sir.
Woman can make girls woman.
Right.
Man make boys man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
why there's two parents in the home, not one. So if the fellow wants to spend time with your child and you can turn around and say no because you mad with him because he's turning around and he ain't love you no more. He love another woman, so you can fight him for your child. You're not hating that man, you know.
That's true.
That's right.
Hurting the child.
What women gotta realize when they do that, they hating the child because they depriving
Yes.
the child of a father
Yes.
figure in their life.
Yes.
So that's all right. He ain't gonna be all right. You can be all right because you said he ain't see his. No, you ain't no woman. From the time they do it up and now, they never hate that man.
Mm.
They hate that child,
That's right.
and that's the worst thing. And if you I wouldn't call you a mother when you doing that. I'll
That's right.
call you a woman.
That's right. You're
I'll
right.
never call you a mother because a real mother, whether the child is there or whether the child's father, wherever, whoever, they can say, buddy, homeboy, you got to come spend time with your son. You got to come spend some time with your daughter. That's a real
Yeah.
mother.
Yes.
all right? But a woman, all right? I'm sorry, not a woman, a little girl
Mhm.
who don't know better
Right.
Mhm.
will say, okay, I ain't gonna see you here, I can tell you that. You're a
Yes.
little girl,
Yes.
you're ignorant,
Yes.
you're the fool,
Yes.
all right?
Yes.
You're the one God didn't stand on it. God accidentally dropped you,
Oui.
Oh dear Lord.
Oui.
all right? God accidentally dropped you, all right? You're the one who God's supposed to be barren,
Oh,
Ooh,
Father.
all right?
Ooh.
You understand that our children,
Oh,
if you
wow.
can take away from your child, if you don't love your child,
That's true.
Mhm.
That's true. I feel
you don't love your child,
Uh-huh.
you don't like no man, you know.
Mhm.
Some man go on and get married to another woman and have other children and
That's
love
right.
them. And then at the end, they see your daddy there with the children, he never checked for you.
Mhm.
Not even saying he never checked for you and at early you tell him you ain't gonna want the child come around him.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
So if any little girl who have a child, a little girl children too, you know, it's the mind thing.
Mhm.
When you mature in your mind, that makes you a woman, a mother, and all that.
Mhm.
But then you turn around, you're a big growing child,
Mhm.
and you gonna say, all right, I get the pride. Your daddy did. Your daddy don't check for you. All right. But anyway, let me not talk too long, 'cause I don't want to take too much time in this show. But then you're to talk. I can listen to you.
Thank you so
Okay,
much,
thank
Connor.
you.
We appreciate
All
your
right.
call, Connor.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Boy, I feel the passion in that man. I felt the passion. But
I
he's
don't
so
think we
he's
could
so
say it any
correct.
better.
No.
Mhm.
But that's why it's so important for us as men, real men now, to know who we go and lay down with.
Mhm.
So we
Isn't
can't
that
just
something?
put it on the women, because yeah, men, we can try it, we can take it, right? But we shouldn't. We gotta be men.
Mhm.
We gotta have enough sense to know that, hey, what the fella say, you can't breed everybody. Everybody
Yeah.
worthy.
But the thing is, and I'm not making any excuses, but you don't know until you get yourself in these situations.
That's true.
Because usually, they talk about a woman scorned, and when you have the child, everything is always perfect and
Mhm.
peaceful and sweet
I could tell you that.
until the relationship
could tell you
ends. And even if the relationship ends and you're suffering, then fine, I'll let you see the child, but don't look happy and then you move on to someone else, and then
yes.
it becomes a problem
Wrapping the
when
child
you're
wrapping.
happy with someone else. And that's the thing, and that's why having children, I know you, like you said, Jason, you can't breed anybody, but just taking a step, having children supposed to be such a sacred thing,
Yes.
because you're looking at, I mean, we do this so frivolously, just having children.
Yes.
This is a whole life. This is a whole life. And the caller earlier said it takes two persons, and it really does take two persons. And for someone to flippantly just rule the other parent out of the child's life,
That's
just
evil.
because.
That's evil.
It
That
is
evil, because
It is a type of
like-
evil, because you're affecting the child, not just that child, generations to come.
That's right.
Because a child who does not have that parent and love of a parent is affected,
Yes.
and it will
Trickle-down
continue
effect.
to be affected.
Yes, and that's what God knows what He's doing. Sex was reserved for married people, right?
And children,
Because
supposed to be
children,
in
when you have sex, you're gonna have children.
Mhm.
So therefore, you married, you have children in marriage, both parents inside the
Mhm.
home. That's how we
Mhm.
had this design. But we having sex all over the place and having babies all over the place and using
Mhm.
children against each other, and then we have another generation of messed up head minds on how the
Right.
world's supposed to, and that's how we are where we are right now.
Mhm.
Parents unable to be adults,
Mhm.
women and men. I don't even say adults, I don't say parents, unable to parent properly.
Mhm.
And they raise a generation who don't know how to raise children properly, and the cycle just keeps
Yes.
going on and on and on. And that's a we thing. That's a man and a woman thing. That's
Mhm.
not a man thing. That's a man and a woman thing. So, but because we talk about men and good men do not have children here,
There and
and there.
everywhere. Yeah.
Good men have children, and even if they do make mistakes and have children or in two different homes, they take care of
They
those
take
children.
care of them.
They
Mhm.
step up and they do all in their power
Mhm.
to be there for their children, in spite of the woman.
Yes.
But I have to disagree with the commenter when they said hell and heaven can't stop a man from getting this. That's not true. The law can stop you from getting there. Take my word for it. The law can, and only through God, patience. Well, God, he'll work a way to get around the law.
Well, I
But the
think
law can't stop you.
yes, and I think in that in that situation, because we do have two groups of persons here. We have men who do not take care of their children, and then we have men who want to take care of their
Mhm.
children, but the women refuse to allow
Right.
these men to take care of their children. But I think that person was referring to a woman who would allow the man to take care of his child. Then
see how you say
if
that?
he really wants that,
Let me
then
see how you said
nothing
that.
nothing can stop
You
that
said
person.
the word you use,
What?
the woman allowed the man to take care of his child.
Yes, because earlier the caller, we were talking about women
No.
who do not allow the
And
men
but
to
you hear how
take
you
care
say
of
it
their
again?
children. Yes.
Allow. That's
Mhm.
mean the woman has the power over the child. And see, and that's
Yes.
the sadness of it.
No,
because law
Mhm.
and time has give the woman this perception that they have autonomy over this child.
They
And
do.
that's
It
wrong.
came from
They
their
do not.
body based on
They do not.
if you have a child outside of wedlock, the woman is the primary guardian for the child.
That's because
If you're not married.
and see, and that's where I disagree again. That's because of time and the law caused that, right?
Okay.
But let's say me,
Mhm.
responsible, good guy, making a mistake, had a child with a woman out there.
Mhm.
I want that's my child. That's my seed
Right.
too. Why is that? Why does she have more rights than I do?
Well,
You catch where I'm coming from?
yes, I
and now
do.
you
I
say
do.
now I'm allowed.
But you know,
Wow,
funny,
you're God.
but funny in it now, funny, yes, well, in that case, because you know what gets attention?
What?
You tell me what gets
You
attention.
tell me. I don't know. I don't know. I
The
don't know where you're
squeaky
going.
wheel gets the attention, right?
You think so?
Yes. So whatever you make noise about, and that's what happened in society. Whatever you make noise about gets attention. We have plenty laws that have been changed in the last few
Since,
years.
yes.
Yes.
Because men now start opening up
right.
and
So
making
I'm
noise.
saying if we had enough men wanting that law to change, then it would be changed. We have enough. We had when we had this situation where I'm sorry,
No, sure.
you don't think so?
No.
If it
No.
was something else, you probably would
No,
agree.
sure.
But anyway, I
Probably.
guess this one hits
No,
home a
see,
little too
because
much.
when you can speak from experience or from
I'm speaking from
personal-
experience from the
personal,
number of laws I've seen change in the last couple of years, where people have made noise, they have picketed, they have done petitions, and changes have been made. Attention has been
Cheryl,
brought
when
to
it
many
comes to
different
men,
subject
Cheryl,
areas.
when it comes to men, we are second-class citizens. I don't
Yeah,
care how much
because you
noise we're
want to
made of.
be.
No, Cheryl.
Because you
No,
want to
Cheryl. See, when we step up
If
and make
God-
noise, then it's a man's world. They're trying to control. When we step on the side, he's not being man enough. See, men are always being marginalized, but that's not the topic
Stop
today.
making excuses.
Men are not.
and
See,
get it
stop
done.
making excuses. See,
Mhm.
and that's
If you
the
want the
problem
law
with the
to
world
change,
right now.
and I think that's a law that needed to be.
No,
we
that's
had
the power of the
the
enemy sticks.
paternity,
Cheryl,
the
this is-
immigration
it's-
law
it's-
as it relates to
Cheryl.
men and paternity, that was
Cheryl,
amended. So if you
Cheryl,
want a
that-
law
that-
to be
listen.
amended about you being primary guardian, then make enough noise and get it done.
No,
But
Cheryl,
y'all don't want it bad
enough
enough.
noise. See,
they
no,
don't
see,
want
and
it
that's
bad
another
enough.
thing.
They
See,
prefer,
see?
a lot of
No,
times
Cheryl, see, that's the
we
thing right there.
prefer
See,
to
hold on,
complain
now,
about a
check
lot
it.
of
See,
things.
She said
We
the men
prefer
don't
to
want it bad
complain
enough.
about
Now, if the
things.
woman, she said the men don't want it bad enough. The men, there's only a few that want it, right? So why the good women who know they're good men, why the good women don't join with the good men, the very few good men who make noise, and help them to change the law? You know why? Because it's benefiting you all. But let's
It's
go back.
benefiting
Anyway,
the good
so
women.
anyway,
How is
next
that
thing- that's the next thing.
benefiting? How is that
Because
benefiting
y'all
the
have
good
autonomy,
women?
y'all have all the y'all have the like
Y'all
you say,
out
the primary
there,
good
y'all
care,
out there
y'all the primary
picketing
care.
when Freeport Power raised the power bill.
No,
Go
only
picket
20 of us
so
was
you
out
can
there.
have
Only 20 of us was out there.
and you probably have 5 if you brought this issue up.
No, 20
Whose
of us was out
problem is
there.
it?
Only 20 of us was
Next.
out there. No, God, stop that. When the laws are already tailored for you all. My body, my choice.
I don't
You know,
have right. So the law is in my
my body,
favor.
my choice.
I don't
the law
need
is
to
always
picket.
in your choice.
It's not in
our
your
favor.
favor, Jason. I'm saying
The prince
if
of this world,
men
the enemy
care,
of this world,
if men
has controls
care,
the law, and that's why the thing
make
that it's always set up
noise.
against men. From Bible, the Satan was after men to get rid of the male child. It's sad that women join in with the enemy and allow and help to can carry this out.
a few women.
No,
You have a lot
not
of
good
good
enough.
women who are doing the right thing. But like I said before,
And a lot of
if
good
you
men are
want it
doing
bad
but
enough,
anyway, we're
make
talking
enough
about,
noise.
No, Cheryl, you need,
Make enough
just how
noise.
you all wanted support.
Just like how
everybody
Jason
needs support.
on here tonight making noise, you get some more men with Jason.
But that's why I am
Make
here.
some more noise.
That's why I'm here to expose
Yes.
it. Because you know what? You all have taught men that they need to be quiet. that a man that
Who
makes
taught-
noises, that a
who
man
taught
that
you
makes
that?
noise.
Clearly,
that a
they
man
did
that
not
makes noise.
succeed because
Of
I've not
course,
seen you quiet before I met you.
Cheryl, I will not be quiet because you know, woman can rule me. That's
No,
it. See, a woman
a
can't
woman-
sit there and tell me be quiet. So that's
I am not telling you
I
to
bought
be
into the
quiet.
lie when I was younger. That
Oh,
hey, man
boy.
should be quiet. And I was like, hold on, if a man be quiet, then that means the woman in charge. They're ruling. They want you to be a man
I'm here
when they
saying,
tell you to be a man.
here
But
saying
now
make
when you
noise.
stand up and say and be the man, oh, now he's forceful, he's controlling, and he's all this stuff. But I don't buy into that manipulation stuff. So
Anyway,
we going back onto the good man. A good man will stand his ground, will stand up, and like Google said, and like God gave him the power to be, he can make choices that sometimes will not be for the fair sex. He can be called controlling sometimes. He's going to be called controlling. He won't be in charge of it, but that's what a leader's in charge. He has to control, but he also has to take responsibility when it does good and it does bad. But sad to say, sometimes he's not allowed to do that. There's that word again, allowed.
he's not
Because-
allowed to take responsibility.
No, he's not allowed to take charge because nobody's going to come and tell him what to do.
Mm.
You see, be the man in your home, but be the man when I tell you to be the man. Take
Well,
charge.
he's not the man.
Take charge, but don't
If
take
he-
charge
if
inside
he
here.
has to be told.
Tell them what to do, but don't tell me what to do.
Well, I blame
When
him
things
for that.
fall down,
I still blame him for
you
that.
is the problem. And it's going good. Everything's okay. See, that's why I'm saying
Still
a
blame him for
man,
that.
he got have to stand up and be a man no matter what. Don't let anybody make you feel less than because they use that word. You're trying to control. That's manipulation. Caller, welcome to Let's Talk. You are live.
You know what you know what I've noticed? I don't know if you noticed it, right? I noticed this for the last few years on social media.
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe your female co-host might notice. I don't know if she'll want to care to admit it.
Probably won't.
But do you notice that it is always women trying to define what a real man is?
Yeah, always.
How the same way I can't tell a woman how to be a woman, how can a woman tell me how I should be a real man or what is a real man and how I should be? And it's usually associated when it's time for the man to pay something.
Yes. Take charge. Be
It's
responsible for
usually-
something. Yes.
It's usually when it's time when they want the man to pay something, particularly if it's a single mother and she meets a man, and of course, you might incur some expenses if you decided to date the woman, the total package, and if the man cannot foot those bills, he is told he is not a real man.
Mhm. Mhm.
How did we get to the point where a woman determines what a real man is or defines what a real man is? How? When did we get to that point?
Okay, caller, you done?
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Okay.
for your question. I know
Yeah.
my co-host will definitely answer that for you.
Oh,
Thank you.
I certainly can. No, well, definitely a woman cannot define what a real man is. Only the manufacturer knows what the product is because he made it. And so the Bible defines what a real or what the ideal man is. And I think we alluded to that in the beginning. But on social media, that's where a lot of people get to voice. And social media now is everybody's platform. Everybody is king and queen and a know-it-all. Everybody's an expert
Mhm.
on social media on everything. And I think I don't really pay a lot of attention to social media, but I tell you this, a lot of women will talk about an ideal man. They talk about the man that's ideal to them, the man that they're looking for. And I can also add to that by saying a lot of women do know what an ideal man is because they go to church that talks about that a lot. They go into forums. A lot of women are educated about what to expect from a man and what an ideal man is. And I don't think a lot of men open themselves or expose themselves to things like that. Believe it or not, I really don't. But a lot of women have information on that. It doesn't make them an ideal woman because a lot of us are expert on what the other person are supposed to be, and we ourselves don't fit or hold ourselves to the high standard by which we hold others. But a lot of women do know, not that they get to define it, but I must say they do know what to expect from an ideal man because they have been taught that. It's just sadly that we don't focus on teaching them, or we don't focus then on being the ideal person who that man is supposed to expect.
Very good. Very good answer, Sharon. I don't know if I can answer it, but I will. So when you hear a caller, when you hear them saying, those same women saying what a man is supposed to be, that's manipulation. That's all it is. They're trying to make you, they're trying to guilt you into doing something they want. They are trying to form you, mold you into what they want. They call that, and then call that a man. And guess what? If they succeed in molding you into that manipulated thing they want, in their eyes, you will not be a man, because guess why? They can say they could control you. They telling you what to do. And in their mind, it's so funny with them. They want to control you, but they don't want you to be controlled. Because if they could control you, you're weak. But then if they can't control you, they're upset. So it's a fine line you have to know how to walk. But if you're a good man and you know it, you wouldn't pander to them. You would make them catch up to you. You would know your worth, and you wouldn't put up with foolishness. So being a good man means you need to know what a good man is. And the only way you can know what a good man is go into the manuscript, go into the blueprint, go into where the standards for a good man. Look up on that, brush up on that, and then become that. And you won't have to fall for these women who even measured up to the standard. But we have to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
I'm Flynn Daxon from Nose Witness News, reporting live from Sniper Paintball City. We're here with the manager, and he's going to tell us a little about what they have to offer.
Daddy, I got this at Sniper Paintball. We have paintball, cornhole, mini golf, batting cage.
Strike!
That's not a strike.
So come on down every Saturday and Sunday to Sniper Paintball City, located next to Crosstown, where you and the family can have a great time.
See you at Sniper.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. Today's a hot one. I almost got Cheryl out of character. Cheryl was over talking me and all. Cheryl almost got up out of her chair. What is with this topic?
Where's Cheryl? There's another Cheryl here.
But anyway, we have some comments, some more comments. Believe it or not, this show is not this hot when we're talking about the other people. When the
Who are the other people?
When we're talking about the ideal other person. We had 5 comments. But nevertheless,
Because there are more of them. Maybe that's why.
no, whatever. We have some comments from the comment from the producer, Mr. Producer. What says he?
Well, the first comment is, Jason, you're speaking about the minority and not the majority, sir. Another commenter said, her attitude is part of the overall problem. Just like the original Eve, her delusion is that men have to repair everything that women help break.
Oy. Ouch.
There's no delusion, commenter. I agree that both men and women have to fix this problem. But someone has to step up. Next comment. I agree with you, Cheryl. They don't want to change. They like it the way it is. Next comment. There's a difference between what's legal and what's lawful. Men make legality and God make what's lawful. Last comment. I want to live in that bubble with Cheryl.
Oh, you like that? Is that Jason's cousin again?
That's your friend. They want to live where you live in Cheryl, the la la land.
Where men are expected to lead, huh? And are held accountable.
And women submit
Mm.
regardless and just follow without challenging the man on every step.
Yes.
That's where we want to be.
Oh, you're joining the bubble?
Mhm.
Okay.
But
Okay.
guys, so this was a beautiful topic. I love it, because I'll be the very first one to say that men need to step up. We in a lot of the problems, a lot of the ills we have in society, it is because men are out of place. Men are just chosen to step back and let things slide. There's many different reasons why, but the point is, we're supposed to be in charge. We're supposed to lead. So Cheryl, I'll give you your wrap up. Try not to talk about men too bad.
I don't speak about men poorly. I
No, you
really don't.
You blame us
Yes,
though.
I
So go
don't.
ahead.
No, I put right where right is. I'm very objective person. There's one of us here on the show. So I just want to say
Thank you, Cheryl.
you're
I
welcome.
know you would always look. One day
Tonight,
you look out for
we're
me.
talking about the good men, and there are still a lot of good men out there. Actually, I'm in the presence of two. There's Jason, and then there's our producer. Two good men, great husbands and great fathers, and there are a lot of other good men out there. But and you know, like we said, a good man subscribes to, you know, the principles that were outlined in the Bible that state what a good man ought to be. He must first be in the presence of God, right? He must have a relationship with God. He must be a worker and a cultivator, a provider for his family. He must know God's word and be able to teach it to his family, his wife, and children, that is, and to be their protector. Okay. And, you know, the Bible goes on to talk about the fact that he must maintain his family. All right. Meaning that not just, you know, when people are, sometimes he has to counsel and advise and gain support. And that's what it is. And I want to encourage the good men out there to continue to be good men. I want to encourage the women to support the good men that you have in your life. And even when they're out of, you know, maybe out of line, maybe out of character, to continue to support them so that they can fall back, pray for them, you know, so that they can fall back into their rightful place. And that's my 5 cents.
Cheryl said it all. I would just add to know that men, we are to be priests first and foremost. Cheryl said that being God's presence. Providers, which means we are to work and be able to provide our families with more than just finances, but emotional, spiritual, physical support. And protectors, we have, and that's maintaining. We got to protect what we've now come into a covenant with, what we've been responsible for.
Yeah.
So that means our families, and if that could be extended families as well. So we don't have a responsibility just to our families, we have a responsibility to our communities as well. Yeah. So it goes beyond just providing for our family, but that's first and foremost. You have to make sure your home is straight first. So men, don't be out there puffing up your chest saying you're man. I mean, you might be a man biologically, but to be a good man, to be considered a good man, you have a responsibility to uphold. You have a crown to wear. It's been given to you by God, and you need to wear it with pride. Take care of your family. Step up. Take care of your families. Be there for your wife. Be there for your children. Be there for your extended family, and be there for your community. We have a lot of things to try to undo. And like Cheryl said, there's a lot of good men out there. I know that. I work around them. I come in contact with them every day. And so let's support each other. Let's encourage those who are not doing so good to come and join us. We have a lot of work to do. And with God's help, we could undo the damage that's been done. So this has been Let's Talk. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you again next week, same time.